You know, it's kind of wild to think that way back in ancient Rome, the elite were using sandalwood fans.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, not just for cooling off, but like as this really subtle perfume, a hint of seduction, you know?
Huh. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Sandalwood.
Right. Okay, let's unpack this because it really hits on what we're diving into today.
These little extras.
Exactly, the little extras that can add, well, so much to our intimate experiences.
Okay.
So we're taking a deep dive into aphrodisiacs, sex toys, and games.
Ah, yeah.
All based on that really concise guide, Aphrodisiacs, Sex Toys, and Games.
Great. I know the one. It's pretty direct. What I found interesting about it, actually, what really clicked for me,
Yeah.
is its core idea that great sex isn't like some impossible dream. It's something achievable.
Tangible.
Exactly. Tangible. It stresses that if you're just a little bit intentional, open to trying things out,
And crucially,
and crucially, have good info, you can really elevate things.
totally agree. And for everyone listening, maybe exploring your sexuality feels, I don't know, easy for you. Or maybe it's something you're still kind of figuring out.
Yeah, it varies hugely.
Right.
Like-
So think of this deep dive like the book's promise put into action. Almost like an owner's manual, maybe?
Ah, I like that. An owner's manual for pleasure.
Yeah. Full of ideas to explore, some guidelines so you feel you're on the right track. Ultimately, it's about feeling empowered, you know? Taking charge of your own sexual happiness.
That makes sense.
So our mission today is pretty straightforward. We're digging out the most interesting, actionable insights from the book, helping you maybe find some new avenues for sensual exploration and, well, fun.
Okay, let's do it. So maybe start with the basics. Aphrodisiacs. What are we actually talking about here?
Good question.
The book defines them pretty broadly. Basically, any substance, usually food or drink, used to boost pleasure or make someone more receptive to it.
Right, but it's not like a magic potion, is it?
No, not at all. And that's key. It's personal. What works for one person might do nothing for someone else. It often ties back to like personal associations, positive memories.
Okay, so it's more psychological sometimes.
Partly, yeah.
Yeah.
But the book also talks about inherently sensual foods.
Sensual foods, like what?
Things with a certain texture, juicy,
Yeah.
soft, maybe a bit mysterious, sweet.
Intriguing.
And it even playfully mentions foods that visually resemble, well, you know.
Ah, gotcha. The power of suggestion.
Exactly. And it gets really practical here. The book suggests this idea for an evening.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, using a blindfold, offering tiny bites of fruits, chocolates, fancy desserts.
Oh, I like where this is going.
Focusing first on the smell, the feel on the lips, before the actual taste.
Oh, engaging all the senses, slowing it down.
Precisely. It's about intentionally using multiple senses, but keeping it relaxed, no pressure.
Makes sense.
But the book does add a practical warning about messier stuff.
Like whipped cream, chocolate syrup.
You got it. Apparently, letting that stuff dry on the skin, well, it can get sticky.
Huh. Yeah, decidedly unsexy stickiness. Good tip.
A post-indulgence shower together might be the way to go.
Definitely noted.
Yeah.
Now, something I really appreciated was how the book tackled some of the historical myths.
Right, that's important.
You know, the old beliefs. Rhino horn, elk antler, powdered seahorse.
Oof, yeah, those...
The book is pretty clear. There's basically zero evidence they work. And worse, the demand is just devastating wildlife.
It's a really crucial point. Suggestion is powerful, sure, but our explorations need to be ethical, sustainable.
Absolutely.
So then the book shifts to the more common suspects, right? Oysters, dark chocolate, wine, certain spices, herbs.
Things people often think are aphrodisiacs.
Exactly. And the main message for listeners here is,
Experiment.
yes, try different things. See what actually sparks something new for you or for you and your partner. Don't just rely on the usual suspects.
Okay, good advice. Now, shifting gears slightly, pheromones. The book gets into this, these chemicals of love. What's the deal there?
It's fascinating, really. They're essentially odorless chemical signals in our bodily secretions.
Odorless, so you don't smell them.
Not consciously, no.
Yeah.
But we apparently have special receptors in our noses just for detecting them.
Wow.
And they can trigger actual physiological responses. Body temperature, heart rate.
Without us even knowing it.
Potentially, yeah. The book even mentions things like menstrual cycle synchronization and women living together being linked to them.
Whoa.
And interestingly, it notes that oral contraceptives might reduce sensitivity to pheromones in some women.
Huh. That's really interesting biologically. So where do these things come from?
The book says they're secreted from glands linked to hair follicles, Think underarms,
Hmm.
groin area.
Okay.
And it points out that some people are just naturally drawn to their partner's specific scent, underarms, hair.
So that explains why burying your face in someone's neck can feel so intense sometimes.
Could be part of it. And if you connect that to perfumes throughout history,
Ah, okay. Set a link.
the book suggests maybe early perfumes were trying to mimic or boost those natural signals.
Like musk.
Exactly. Musk apparently smells quite similar to testosterone. And
Yeah.
historically, you had things like civet, ambergris in Roman times.
Wow.
And vanilla, lavender, flower essences have been used for ages to, enhance allure.
And that sandalwood story, I was genuinely shocked.
What was that again?
Entire forests in Hawaii basically wiped out in the 18th, 19th centuries for that wood.
Just for the smell.
Yeah. And the most expensive European fans,
Yeah.
made of sandalwood. So every flick released this subtle scent.
Incredible. But it raises a point about fragrance today, doesn't it?
How so?
The book advises choosing perfumes that complement your natural scent, not mask it.
Right. Not overpowering.
It even suggests, sometimes going without perfume altogether, letting your own unique erotic scent be part of the mix.
I like that. And incense for setting the mood.
Mentioned, yeah, but subtly.
Hmm.
Maybe in the next room, so it's just a hint, not like a thick cloud.
Good call. Avoid the headshot vibe.
Exactly. And I love the idea of creating your own custom oil blends.
Oh, yeah. At an aromatherapy store.
Yeah, like crafting your own personal secret signal for arousal.
Cool idea.
But ultimately, just like with food, scent is so individual. What drives one person wild might do nothing for another.
And if you find weird smells attractive, like gasoline or baking bread.
Totally normal, apparently. You're just wired your own unique way. No judgment.
Okay, good to know. So, moving beyond smells. What about other kinds of enhancements? The book talks about gels, creams, lotions.
Right. And they're definitely more popular now. Huge variety out there.
Flavored, scented, warming ones.
Ones that claim to stimulate arousal. And let's not forget the basic practical benefit. Lubrication can make things more comfortable.
Definitely. But there are warnings, right? Need to be careful.
Absolute critical warnings. First off, check the ingredients. Allergies are a real thing. And super important, petroleum-based products like Vaseline, they can damage condoms, latex barriers.
Oh, right. Big one.
Also, massage oils are generally for outside use only, unless the label explicitly says otherwise.
Got it. Don't assume.
And one more, if pregnancy isn't a concern, check for non-oxynol 9 in lubricants. That can cause irritation for some people.
Good list of cautions.
Yeah.
Now, what about those heightening creams for women?
Yeah, that's an interesting section. The idea is similar to, say, erectile dysfunction meds.
How so?
They aim to help with the physical side of orgasm by increasing blood flow down there. Often use things like L-arginine.
Do they work?
Well, the book is pretty careful here. It says our understanding is still developing. Results vary.
So, early days still.
Pretty much. More research needed in that area, definitely.
Okay. But the principle enhancing blood flow seems key. Now, shifting again, let's talk food within lovemaking.
Right. Not just before.
The book stresses timing. A huge meal right before sex, not ideal. Blood goes to digestion.
Yeah, it kind of kills the mood, right? So the idea is to weave food into the ritual.
Instead of a big pregame meal.
Exactly. Make eating part of the shared sensual experience. Feed each other, maybe in courses throughout the evening.
What kind of food?
Lighter stuff,
No.
sushi, maybe delicate pastas, skewers. Then dessert served, well, intimately.
On the body.
That's one suggestion. Talk about multisensory.
No kidding. The book also mentions playful presentation, right? Shaping food.
Yeah, like little erotic chocolates, cakes, even oysters arranged suggestively.
Ha! Creative.
And simple things, like soaking dried fruit in a little liqueur or dipping fresh fruit in different sauces. Adds a layer.
Okay, I can see that. What about specific spices or flavors?
It explores ones often believed to boost desire. Pumpkin pie spices, licorice, cinnamon, even chili,
For heat.
maybe. But also mentions general health benefits. The main thing, though, is finding flavors you both like.
Shared enjoyment. Makes sense. And we have to talk chocolate, of course.
Can't skip chocolate. The book explains the phenylethylamine thing, that chemical link to feeling like you're falling in love.
Right. Speeds up nerve signals, opens blood vessels.
Yep. And it mentions Montezuma, the Aztec emperor, supposedly drinking tons of chocolate daily for stamina.
Wow. Legendary.
And for women, those hormonal chocolate cravings. Might be the body subconsciously trying to lift mood and energy.
Fascinating. Okay, last edible thing. Alcohol.
Ah, yes. The social lubricant. In moderation, the book says it can lower inhibitions, boost sensuality.
Moderation being key.
Absolutely. It even mentions small amounts might help some men last longer. But too much,
Yeah.
opposite effect, totally counterproductive.
So how to use it well?
Make it deliberate. Part of the ritual. Share sips of something special. Maybe incorporate it playfully into kissing, oral sex.
Okay, intentionality again. Now, beyond the physical, what about the mind? Erotic reading, writing.
Huge potential there, according to the book.
Yeah.
Reading erotic stuff aloud to your partner.
Using your own voice.
Yeah, adding your inflection, bringing it to life, sharing the fantasy. And pillow books.
What are those exactly?
Collections old and new of erotic images, stories, guides, great resources for sparking ideas together.
Cool. It taps into vulnerability, doesn't it? Shared fantasy.
Totally. And the book encourages writing love letters. Even if you feel awkward, maybe borrow some poetry lines.
The act itself is the gift.
Precisely. The time, the care. Imagine writing a poem together or leaving little suggestive notes before a date. Builds anticipation.
Yeah, that could be really hot. And the actual words used during sex?
Words of love and lust, the book calls them. It notes some general trends, maybe more explicit talk, appeals more to some men, more romantic phrasing to some women.
General trends, though, not rule.
Definitely not rules.
Yeah.
The main message is use words, talk, make sounds, express pleasure.
Don't be silent.
Right. It even suggests a quick 1-minute exercise. Share compliments, erotic words, gratitude,
Yeah.
just to boost connection and communication.
Nice. Simple idea. Okay, shifting again. Between the sheets. AIDS. Toys.
Yep, gets right into it. Advocates for open chats with partners or solo exploration if you're single.
Vibrators come up first.
Yeah. Highlighted as useful for women learning about their orgasm. Recommend starting with clitoral stimulators, dildos too, as an alternative or addition.
Communication with a partner seems vital here.
Absolutely. Reassure them it's about enhancing shared pleasure, not replacing anything.
Ralph.
Address any insecurities.
Good point. Any downsides mentioned?
Potential for desensitization with super frequent intense use. So mindful use is suggested.
Makes sense.
And interestingly, it mentions some men use small vibrators on the perineum.
During sex or oral?
Yeah. Potential prostate benefits even mentioned.
Huh. Okay. And dildos generally.
Just the sheer variety is staggering now. Shapes, sizes, materials, vibrating, non-vibrating, different uses.
Where to even start?
Recommends good websites or well-stocked adult stores for first buy. Online offers privacy, obviously.
Right. What about condoms and gloves? Beyond just safety.
Even in monogamous STD-free relationships, the book suggests they can be fun. Add a fantasy element. Useful for anal play, too.
Okay. Interesting angle. Now, what about natural remedies for boosting response?
It covers a few. Ginkgo bilobas, ginseng for blood flow, neurotransmitters, hormones.
Traditional stuff.
Some traditional, yeah. Lycium fruit for male impotence historically,
Yeah.
so palmetto for prostate health. Black cohosh for female hormones.
Others mentioned too.
Briefly, yeah. Wild yam, L-arginine again, kava kava. But advises doing your own research on those.
Fair enough. Then there's the pharmaceutical side. Viagra and such.
Acknowledges the market, yeah. More awareness, more treatment options now for low libido. Viagra's the big name for ED, obviously.
Yeah, big warnings here too, right?
Critical warnings. Tell your doctor everything else you're taking before trying prescription sex meds. Interactions can be dangerous.
And some regular meds can hurt sex drive anyway.
Yes, that's mentioned too. Alcohol, some common prescriptions, worth knowing.
What about natural Viagra type products?
Approach with caution. Book warns about exaggerated claims, lack of regulation, potential risks.
Be skeptical. And for women, a female Viagra.
Still a lot of demand, the book notes, but currently no real equivalent product on the market that's widely accepted like Viagra is for men.
Okay, got it. So moving towards lighter stuff. The book stresses that sex should be fun, right?
Absolutely. Making a conscious effort to be lighthearted, spontaneous. It reduces stress, increases intimacy, which leads to rituals.
Sexy rituals and traditions. Sounds formal.
Doesn't have to be. A ritual is just giving special meaning to actions. Could be a simple candle at dinner or way more elaborate.
Like incense, music, special touch.
Yeah. The key is the intention, crafting an experience, creating a specific sensual mood.
Tailored to the occasion. Anniversary, birthday, or just because.
Exactly. It's about making it personal, using colors, scents, sounds that mean something to you both.
Any specific ideas?
Lighting a candle together, sharing feelings, using music playlists, introducing a new toy or maybe something tactile like a fur mitt or feather.
Be silly sometimes.
Definitely embracing silliness, too.
I liked the detailed Valentine's Day example in the book.
Oh, yeah, that was quite involved.
Yeah.
Setting aside real time, getting specific items, candles, flowers, fruit, liqueur,
Setting up the room, expressing appreciation.
the sensual bath, massage, eye gazing, then slow lovemaking, using the food and drink to heighten things.
Really paints a picture of deep connection.
Very intentional. Which gets back to that sensual food fun idea.
Beyond just whipped cream again?
Yeah. Creating finger food meals eaten sensually. Maybe a no feeding yourself rule.
Really?
It even mentions a book, Botanica Erotica, for more ideas. But again, that crucial warning,
No sugar in the vagina.
absolutely not. Risk of yeast infections. Big no-no.
Okay. Final area. Intimate games.
Right. Not about winning, but about fun. Exploring boundaries, sparking imagination.
Respect is key, though.
Paramount. If it's not working for someone, stop. And some games involve surrender, receiving, which can be a new dynamic for couples.
What are some examples?
The sense deprivation game. Blindfold one partner.
Use different textures, rose petal, fur, paintbrush, ice.
Exactly. And sense, sounds. Heighten the other senses.
Cool. What else?
Swimming in oil. Using warmed olive oil for full-body exploration. Playful, messy. Need to clean up before intercourse, though.
Good tip. And a writing game.
The Pulp Fiction game. Each writes their ideal fantasy, or maybe about a past great experience.
Best orgasm, riskiest sex.
Yeah. Then read them aloud. Or use like a lingerie catalog to start a shared story.
Lots of creative options there, which leads nicely into general creativity and lovemaking.
Yes, moving beyond the same old positions, exploring different spots in the house.
Kitchen counter, dining table, armchair.
Just injecting novelty and fun, experimenting.
The book mentions a specific position, the hassock position.
Yeah, like a modified yab-yum, that seated tantric pose. Using a cushion or hassock for easier, more dynamic movement.
Interesting. And creating the environment.
Using carpets, pillows, maybe in front of a fireplace. Customizing the setting for different positions.
Taking it beyond the bed. And even taking it outside.
Right. Echoing the Kama Sutra, break habits. Connect with nature.
Privacy is obviously a thing now.
For sure. But private backyards, porch swings, love swings, and secluded spots are mentioned as possibilities.
And looking to nature for inspiration, like animal mating rituals.
Yeah, observe animals, zoos, nature shows, get ideas. The point is to tune into yourself and your partner differently outside the usual context.
More instinctual, maybe.
Perhaps. The book mentions things like undulating movements in water, light scratching or biting, using sounds, growls, moans.
Tapping into something more primal.
Exactly.
Okay, wow. We've covered a lot, so just to kind of wrap up the main themes.
Yeah, let's recap.
We've seen the power of aphrodisiacs and scents, right? Setting that mood.
Definitely. And the potential of aids and remedies for enhancing pleasure.
But also, crucially, the importance of fun, creativity, those intentional rituals.
Keeping things fresh and connected.
So the core message for everyone listening seems to be embrace experimentation.
Yeah. And open communication.
Yeah.
With your partner or just with yourself if you're exploring solo.
And keep it playful, curious. A fulfilling sex life is a journey, right? Learning, discovering.
Couldn't agree more. It's an ongoing process.
Okay, so on that note, maybe a final thought for everyone listening to chew on.
Go for it.
What's maybe one small, playful thing you could consciously introduce into your intimate life this week?
Good question.
Or maybe just take a minute now, jot down a few foods, scents, activities that you personally find arousing. Just start thinking about it.
Great starting point.
Yeah. We really encourage you to just keep exploring, keep deepening that understanding of your own desires and your partner's too.